All right, why don't we go ahead and get started? My name is Trish Teresi. I'm the Director of Membership and Marketing at the Communications Society. We're joined today by a variety of guests from the Communications Society as well as the IEEE Humanitarian Technologies group. I'm going to be handing things over to that team to help us go through and explain the best way to go ahead and submit a proposal for the IEEE Communications for All program. Juliana, should I hand it over to you?
Thank you so much, Trish, and it's a pleasure to be here with everyone. Speaking about the opportunity that we have with Communication for All, we've got a little bit of a mix of information to share with everyone, speaking about the program itself, some recent programs that have received funding, and as Trish mentioned, we also have some recommendations on preparing and submitting a project proposal to Communication for All. I am joined by our Tech for Good committee chair this year, Matthew Imhoff. And Matthew will be speaking from much experience. He's been in this role for several years and will be able to speak to this program and also recommendations that we've seen and further developed over the years in Tech for Good. Matthew, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Matthew, and I'm coming to you from Sydney, Australia. As Juliana mentioned, I am the Tech for Good program committee chair for 2025 and 2026. And so I've been running the Tech for Good program, which includes the ComSoc collaboration, IEEE Communication for All, for the last 2 years. So last year, we were able to fund some excellent projects. And so I hope that is the same this year as well. And I'm very happy to take you through the process of applying and getting funded with Juliana here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Matt. I'd also like to introduce VP Prasad. VP is the IEEE Communications Society Director for the Humanitarian Board here. VP, would you like to introduce yourself and the program?
Sorry for my voice. My name is Venkatesha Prasad. I'm an associate professor at Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands. I also spend a good amount of time in India, and I'm taking care of the humanitarian activities, technology activities from the ComSoc side with my senior colleague Ricardo Vega. And of course, a lot of support from Trish and Cindy. I'm looking forward to have a very good set of applications this time, and we are eager to work with you or probably even run for such a fantastic activity, and then also for the future of society for which IEEE ComSoc can contribute very meaningfully. Thank you so much.
Julian, I'll hand it off to you and Matt then to move forward.
Thank you, Trish. Okay, so we can go ahead and move through the materials that we have planned for you today. Matthew, just let me know if you would like me to present this first section or if you would like to walk everyone through this introduction to humanitarian technologies.
I can do it. Thank you, Juliana. Okay. So IEEE Tech for Good is part of the IEEE Humanitarian Technologies program. And so we really aim to achieve the IEEE's mission of creating technology for the benefit of humanity, specifically focusing on technology for social impact projects in people's local communities. So we want to see some real world deployment of technology in your local communities. And so what we try to emphasize as is that in Tech for Good and in IEEE Humanitarian Technologies more broadly, is that doing doing technology for social good is not easy. And even though we may be experts in technology, experts in whatever field of the IEEE that you're a part of, you know, there are other barriers that mean that actually having an impact, actually deploying technology and having it work for a community over the long term is not guaranteed. And so some of these are on this slide. So it might be lack of expertise within the community. It might be a lack of planning for maintenance and for repair activities. It might be a lack of understanding of a financial model that a technology is going to raise money or pay for itself. And so what we find is that obviously you on this call are technology experts, but to actually do a real world social impact project requires a bit more. And so these are some of the things that we're going to go through as part of the application process to make sure that your IEEE Communication for All project has the impact that you want it to have. Yep. Yeah. To sum it up, that we are making sure that these other considerations are here in the application process, so that they're not an afterthought. So that the technology that you develop and deploy as part of the project is uh, is there from this is built alongside these other things to make sure that your project is sustainable. Okay. And so the role of IEEE Humanitarian Technologies and Tech for Good, who is the specific program we're partnering with ComSoc here in this case, is that IEEE Humanitarian Technologies is going to provide some of the expertise in how these local community projects actually work. We will help you with understanding local context. We'll help you with understanding what it takes to deploy um, a technology system so that you at the top there can provide that technical expertise, and so that we're able to make sure the project works as a whole. So because we do need all these three things to be aligned uh, in order to have a successful project. We need not just the technology work, but the community, there to be a good relationship with the community that we develop the technology for, and also it's deployed in a way um, that that enables it to succeed. Okay, and so this is where we sit in terms of the wider IEEE Humanitarian Technologies ecosystem. So Tech for Good is just one program as part of IEEE, what we call the Humanitarian Consortium. And there are many others. Some, like Site and Move, are managed directly by the Humanitarian Technologies Board, and others, such as Empower a Billion Lives or IEEE Smart Village, those are still managed directly by the societies. And IEEE Humanitarian Technologies provides that support in the in our areas of expertise. So, as said before, IEEE Communications for All is a partnership between Tech for Good and the Communications Society. Okay, and so what is Tech for Good at its heart? Tech for Good is the way that Humanitarian Technologies funds our members to achieve impact through projects. So, uh, so We encourage IEEE members and volunteers to propose projects to us, and we're able to fund those. Ideally, those projects would be in your own local communities, so you can have the local impact, and so that you have that pre-existing relationship with the community that you're going to work with. So the idea behind Tech for Good, as opposed to some other of the IEEE programs, is that we are really focused on technology deployment. So we would like to see some deployment of proven technologies to achieve social impact. There are other programs that will be focused more on education, other programs that will be focused more on innovation and research. But for Tech for Good, we really want to see those um, really clear expected results and expected impact. And they'll be clear once we see the application process. Okay, so on to communication for all specifically. Okay. So this slide really illustrates the challenge that we have in the communication space, and see that, while of course many of us are able to benefit quite a lot from the internet and digital technologies in many aspects of our lives, there are many parts of the world that are still unconnected. So, and that's not only a gap from country to country or region to region or urban and rural. That's a gap that's also exacerbated by uh, gender disparities, and uh, and that means that you know a lack of access to communications technology often means a lack of access to other services. So communication technology is very important for addressing a lot of a lot of challenges in the world today. So moving on to the center, we're seeing that accelerate with access to the internet, access to digital services now means access to AI, and so AI can be a multiplier in that it improves the effectiveness and power of some of these services, but that often means that the gap is also increasing as well. So basically, digital technology is becoming more and more and more relevant, and communication technologies becoming more and more and more relevant. And this means that there's a ever increasing gap between those who have access and those who do not. And so on the right, we have the role of engineers, not just to develop technology, but to expand who has access and to make sure that this access is being expanded in a way such that everyone benefits. So, and in that way, you know, you as communications engineers can really have a large impact through communications technology, unlocking all these other services for people who currently don't have access to them. Okay. Look, I'm very proud to say that the partnership between ComSoc and Tech for Good has been going on for a number of years. And so over the time that we've had this partnership, we have awarded nearly $200,000 to 19 projects in 13 countries. And that has an impact on 13,500 people. And so, you know, it's it's very impressive the impact we've had through our project so far, and I hope that continues in our 2026 call for proposals and beyond. So thank you, ComSoc, for partnering with us for this impact. Okay, and here are some examples. So we have a project for a couple of communities in Colombia that serves 300 people who did not have access to the internet previously. Do you think
Matthew,
we
we
have
have
time for the
a,
video?
oh yes, we do have a video.
Oh,
Let me just see. I'm gonna,
okay.
hopefully that will play. I've got it loaded. Give me just one moment and I'll switch over.
There are still places in the world where having access to internet connectivity is not part of daily life. And the digital divide is a reality. Along Colombia's Pacific coast, distance is measured in time, in long journeys by road, by river, and through dense rainforest that isolates communities from even the nearest village. Here, connectivity is more than convenience. It is access to education, to healthcare, to economic opportunity, and to participation in an increasingly digital world. Without it, communities remain on the margins. Through the Communication for All grant program, powered by the IEEE Communications Society and Tech for Good, volunteers bring together technical expertise, local context, and a focus on long-term sustainability to address one of the most pressing challenges of our time, meaningful connectivity. In Ladrilleros and Juan Chaco, two coastal communities in Colombia, IEEE volunteers took a critical first step, bringing a shared internet connection to the community. That first connection became the foundation for something greater. A second phase introduced a 4G network, enabling people to connect directly from their own phones. The transformation was immediate. Students accessed new learning opportunities. Local businesses began to grow and reach beyond their communities. Families reconnected with each other and with the world. This is the essence of IEEE Tech for Good. Not just deploying technology, but expanding what communities can achieve. Because when technology is designed with purpose, it's grounded in real needs, it creates lasting impact, opening pathways to opportunity and strengthening the fabric of communities. And the work continues. Venturing deeper into the region, IEEE Tech for Good and Communications Society volunteers reach the indigenous Hunan communities, where isolation is even more profound. Surrounded by dense rainforest and accessible only by water, connectivity has long been out of reach. There, a new effort established community internet access, creating a bridge between tradition and improvement of their livelihoods. Because when connectivity reaches the places that need it most, it connects people to opportunity, to knowledge, and to the world. And it often begins with something small. One grant that starts a thread of change, creating a ripple effect far beyond where it began. What starts as a single connection becomes new skills and stronger communities, empowered to shape their own future through resilient systems, connected networks, and lasting impact that expands long after the first connection is made. This is Tech for Good.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Like what a story about the power of communications technology.
Okay, and Matthew, you can see we're back to my slides.
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yep. Yep. So we have our second case study, which is also in Region 9. So again, this is again an internet network that supports education services and supports the schools where previously they did not have access to digital digital technologies or the internet. The students are now able to access all sorts of online education materials, which has also, of course, made it easier for teachers to get the resources they need to teach the classes. Okay, so uh, this webinar is to open the Communication for All call for proposals and to go through the steps of the application process and importantly, what will make a successful project and what will make a successful Communication for All application. Okay. So first of all, we want to make sure your project meets some basic requirements, and that includes a budget requirement. We will fund projects from $2,500 to 12,000 US dollars per project, and projects are up to 6 months in length. And we also require some partnership with a local community in the area which you want to work. And so, that's important for having representatives of the community there who can help you to evaluate the local context, which helps for our second requirement there, which is making sure you are able to explain and measure the impact of your project. So, for example, in the previous case studies we showed, you might be able to measure the number of students and teachers at the school who now have access to the online resources thanks to their school getting internet access, or the number of people in the communities who are connected to the internet and through the Colombian case study, and what they were able to do as a result of having that new access. So we want to go beyond just we installed this technology. We want to know what was done as a result. What was improved in terms of how many people could access resources they couldn't before as a result of the new communications infrastructure. Okay. Okay, some more requirements. Because this call for proposals is in partnership between Tech for Good and ComSoc, we require that the primary applicant be a member of ComSoc and be a professional member or above. And so if you have students on your project, then they cannot be the primary applicant. You'll need to have a member or senior member or above to be on the application as primary applicant. Yeah, and the project lead must also be a ComSoc, a Communications Society member. And yeah, please only submit one proposal. The way Tech for Good operates is that the funds will be released to a local organization unit, and that is most often the local section. So please get the endorsement of your section chair and treasurer to make sure that you'll be able to receive the funds if they are transmitted to your section. Yep, and to add to that, we generally do not submit funds to a chapter or a student branch. So again, please make sure your chair and treasurer are aware of your application. And this helps us to fulfill IEEE's financial reporting requirements, and making sure that we are funding the project through our volunteers in the correct way. And because IEEE is based in the United States, there are restrictions on which countries are able to be funded. So sadly, there are some countries that we cannot fund. We do have the email address here, which can walk you through some of these requirements. Okay, so that's kind of the eligibility out of the way, and now we look at how your project will be assessed. And so your project will be assessed by some volunteers from the Humanitarian Technologies side. So Tech for Good volunteers who have experience reviewing the projects from our previous calls for proposals. And also volunteers from ComSoc will also be reviewers. And, at the heart of it, what we really want to evaluate on is, do we think your project will have a positive impact on the communities in which you are working? And so one way to encourage you to do that is by linking your project to one of the Sustainable Development Goals. And we've identified a number here, which we think are very relevant to communication technologies, including, of course, SDG 9, boosting economic activity, boosting innovation, providing infrastructure. Of course, communications and internet access falls under that. But then some of the second order impacts include, easier access to resources to help people improve their health, easier access to educational resources, addressing gender gaps in access to services, and then SDGs 11, 12, 13, which are about communication technology enabling communities to manage consumption, manage waste, and address carbon emissions and climate change better. So, when thinking about the impact, again, don't just think about, we've installed this system and now X number of people have access to communications tools. Think about, what is the impact of them having those tools? What are they able to do that they could not do before? And that will really strengthen your application to show, to really show where is the positive social impact for your community. Okay, and so the actual application process is that first thing we do is we have an eligibility quiz, and that allows you to self-assess whether your proposal is actually a good fit or in scope for Communications for All call for proposals. And so we highly encourage you to use that and to contact us to clarify the requirements to make sure that when you do submit your proposal that it does meet the eligibility criteria. Okay. Then please create and submit your proposal by the 26th of July, and then we will start the review process. So we'll be, as I said, we'll be bringing together Tech for Good volunteers as well as ComSoc volunteers to participate in the review process, which will usually be done with volunteers reviewing the written application and then coming together in a meeting to make the final funding decisions. So for those of you who have successful projects, said the project duration we recommend to be up to 6 months. And so we should be able to have you start your projects going from October until April in 2027. And then we will also ask for a final report, including your budget actuals to be submitted after the project is completed. And I'd like to draw your attention to that point number 6, which is sustainability. So we do not expect your team and your volunteers to work on your project forever after your technology is deployed. And so we actually require you to identify the community partner who will be able to take ownership of your technology after the project. So please keep that in mind in the applications, that you do have a community partner who is happy to receive your system and then take ownership and be trained in its use, trained in its maintenance and repair, so that the project can, so that the system can continue after your deployment project has completed. Okay. Any questions so far? We will get into more details on what is actually in the application form and what you should think about before you apply. Okay, so these are some of our recommendations, and in my experience, volunteering at Tech for Good, these are what really makes your project successful. And so these are some of the things that we'll look for when we want to see applications. So the first one goes back to what we said right at the start of the slides, and that is your project will succeed or fail, primarily not based on the technology alone, because we know you're technology experts. We know that you know which system is most appropriate for which situation. We know you'll be able to deploy and install a system because you are technology experts. But so we encourage you to create a project team that also includes people with different perspectives. Certainly, even people who do not have an engineering background, because they'll be able to provide, the context, the understanding of the local community. They'll be able to provide some insight into some of the applications and impact that your project could have. For example, if you're working in a school, you would need to know what are the requirements that the teachers have at the school in order to design the appropriate system, right? So you'll be able to do a lot better if you have multiple different perspectives in the team. And certainly if you have people on the team with different areas of expertise, such as the contextual knowledge, the local knowledge, and the project management knowledge to get the project done. Okay, our second recommendation on our checklist is partnering with communities. So I said, in order to have a sustainable technology deployment, you absolutely need a buy-in from some community partners. And so That means building trust with them. Maybe you already have a community you want to work with, or maybe you're able to engage with different organizations in your local area that you want to work with. But it's important to uh, have some trust between you and your community partner, so that you are able to confidently hand over the project, confidently make sure that the people you're handing over to can take over the operations and maintenance, etc. After your deployment is finished. And what that means that the project will be sustainable after it's finished. So because we have that local buy-in, we have the community willing to use it, we have the community ready and trained to use it with any training that is required. We have maintenance agreements, and maybe even a financial understanding of the financial costs, so that the community is able to plan around that and make sure that the finances are there to support any maintenance or repairs that are needed. So yeah, this is the reason that we require a community partner to be part of the project. Okay. And in order to build that trust, in order to build that knowledge of the system, in order to build your understanding of the community and the local context, we highly, highly encourage you to involve the community in decisions so that they are able to take ownership. So that includes including the community decisions, that includes understanding their knowledge, including their knowledge, and it includes ensuring that there are community members who are identified to be trained up to maintain the system. And then I think I've also already covered financial sustainability, but this needs to be discussed with the community. The operation and maintenance of your system will have some cost, even if it is small, and so there should be discussions with the community about how they will be able to raise money through that. Some projects will be able to make money, some projects will reduce costs, and those might be considered, revenue for the project that might go into a maintenance fund, for example. Okay. Again, I think I've covered a lot of these, but for long-term sustainability, identify who in the community can be trained, so that there is that knowledge within the community about your system, how it works, and what to do if it needs maintenance. And then also, please, for your final report, and especially for your impact measurement, communicate often with the community and collect data for both the baseline and for the before and after, so that you can show what your project has achieved. Please keep communicating with your partners so that they're able to provide feedback and you're able to respond and do a better deployment for them. Okay. Yeah, and so what does involving the community actually mean in practice? So, it starts with the decision to identify the problem, to identify the target area where you want to install a system, to identify any particular organization within the community that might benefit the most. And so, discussions can happen even very early on in the proposal stage or even before. Okay. And then absolutely keep the community involved in design, through implementation, and then, of course, operation and maintenance. By that time, the community should be well versed in how your system works and able to take that over. And what this means for the application is we would like you to provide a letter of support from each of the partner organizations that you want to engage with. And so what this basically is the agreement that each community partner has provided about what they will, first of all, that they are aware the project is happening and they support the project, but also what specifically is the support that they will provide to the project. So, and this is important, especially for that ongoing operation and maintenance stage, because you want to make sure that the community partners are aware up front that there is need for someone to operate and maintain the project after deployment is complete. So we've provided templates for you for this, and if you for any community partners who do join your project, please get them to detail what support they're providing in those letters. All right. And what makes a proposal very, very good? Okay. These are the these are the metrics which we will use to evaluate your proposal. So some of these will be very some of these will be the same for every kind of engineering project, and others are specific to the community development aspect of the projects. So, can you clearly explain the expected impact of the project, the benefit the community will have? Can you identify and explain clearly what is the project scope? What will you be doing and what you will not be doing? Do you have a team that's capable of delivering the project? Have you assessed risks? Have you engaged with the community partners as described in the previous slides? Have you considered and been able to explain, what are some other social and environmental impacts of your project? And overall, does it align with what the IEEE wants to do, which is advance technology for humanity? Okay. And here are some things to not do in your proposal. And it is not that these are not good things, it is that these are out of scope for the Tech for Good ComSoc Communication for All program. So number one, we want to support projects that are deploying proven technology to communities. So we want guaranteed or very likely positive impact for our communities, and so we do not want to see research or unproven technology in the proposals, and we don't want to see anything that's just there to sell a product to communities. Number two, again, we want to focus on technology deployment, which means that education programs are out of scope. So I'd say, for example, providing internet access to a school is a technology deployment project. Delivering STEM education in a school is an education project. So please keep your projects kind of focused on deploying technology. Okay. Number three, we want this to be relevant to ComSoc. If you have projects that involve other kinds of technologies, then we'll invite you to contribute to other calls for proposals, including our open call for proposals, which happens at the start of every year. For the communication for all calls for proposals, then we need to be relevant to communications. Number four, we want to see some expected impact, and we want to see how you plan to measure that impact. Number five, we want to see projects that focus on long-term needs rather than, for example, immediate disaster relief. Now, immediate disaster relief is a great thing to do, and the IEEE actually has other programs that handle immediate disaster relief. So for Tech for Good, we want to see long-term infrastructure development rather than immediate humanitarian relief. And number six is medical devices are also out of scope. So yeah, many of these things are good things to do, but Tech for Good and the Communication for All program will not fund them. Okay, the things we do want to include lots of information about the community and about how the community will be helped by your project and how it addresses sustainable development challenges in your proposal, in your community. We want to see communication technology or technology that's relevant to ComSoc. We want to see involvement from IEEE members and volunteers. Again, this can include students, but your project needs to be led by a member grade or above. We want to see relevant expertise in the project team. We want to see evidence that the community will be involved throughout the project. We want to see evidence that your project will be sustainable long term after you have finished deployment. And we want to see how you plan to evaluate the project and measure the impact. Okay, so we look forward to seeing your proposals, and we may come back via the staff team. We may come back with some further questions. Mostly, this is often to clarify some things, or for to answer any questions we might have about your project. And then the reviewing committee will meet to make some funding decisions about which projects will be successful. All right. And yeah, we'll now point you to some resources you can have access to. These slides will be shared so you can see the links. But please take a look at the Communication for All website, as well as, if you're interested, the other sites on the Humanitarian Technologies page. So we have example applications, questions about the applications, the core proposals process, that letter support template, and finally, most importantly, the funding portal, which is where you'll submit your application. All right, and we are very excited to receive your applications. So best of luck, and I hope to see some excellent project ideas and proposals, and I hope that we're able to fund your idea to have some excellent impact in your community.
Thank you, Matt. We appreciate you taking the time today, especially after such a long day, to help our community learn more about the projects and how to be successful. I do see some questions have come in. We appreciate your interest in obviously the project. If there are specifics, please continue to put them into the chat box or to the question and answer section. This webinar was recorded, and we will share the slides as well as the recording on the Communications for All website. So. Are they, I know earlier in the session, Mr. Waled had questions. So, Mr. Waled, if you'd like to put that into the chat box, please feel free. Are there any others at this time?
It's one attendee. has raised the hand. Oh, Walid. Yeah, so I would like to add that you should not worry too much about everything going exactly as it is. So if you have some reasons why you want to deviate and things like that, please still make the submission because the reviewers will be looking into all the details, right? So in that sense, you can definitely um, explain, and we are only looking at how exactly we are able to contribute along with the SDGs to the communities, to the society, right? So that's a very important aspect that we are looking at. And then for all the financial reasons and other things, of course, we cannot have students as the primary applicants. So that's another thing that please keep in mind. And also mention your home chapter, professional chapters, so that it becomes easy for us to go through there are lots of other IEEE procedures mandated by the government. So that's why it's always important to mention all the information. So we don't have to come back and then ask you things. So that will help us a lot. So give all the information, all the details, and also put your IEEE numbers. Don't forget that, because that makes it very easy for Cindy to look into lots of other details whenever we require. So those are the things. Don't forget it. I would also suggest a few things when you're submitting the proposal. If you can put some block diagrams, how this could be as a whole, how we can see it from the reviewer's point of view. Some nice pictures, block diagrams that can give a complete picture. That would be really nice, right? I'm saying few of these things as sort of best practices. Of course, you're free to submit. Please go through these slides once we share, and then you can submit. But these are some of the soft things that can help you get the proposal its due. Okay.
Wonderful, VP. Thank you. We're in the process right now of answering some questions in the Q&A section.
Yeah.
One of them right now is, our community does not have a representative organization, then what do we do? And then second, there's a question for the eligibility quiz. If you put a wrong answer, does it make us unable to submit? And Juliana is answering that right now. And I guess I need a little bit of clarification on this question, which says, as the target area is backward, we have individuals who are assisting, but there is no representative organization in the community. So I think what I'm hearing here is that the concern is that you are going into an area where there is not a supporting organization to continue the sustainability of the project. I would recommend in those instances, this is a question from Ashir Waled, that you do try to find some type of local organization that can help with the sustainability of the projects.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Trish. Because if there's no organization, right, then who does your team make an agreement with to take over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do not recommend you handing over the project to an individual. We recommend you hand over to an organization, and that organization can provide a letter of support. So please do try to find some organization. It might be another charity or NGO that works in the area. It might be a local council or something. But please do try to find someone. Otherwise, it will become very hard to prove that you have to hand over properly.
Yeah. So at least talk to your local municipality, right? So they should be able to help you with because the support is good, and then you'll be able to showcase how it's going to be useful. So please, first thing is that talk to one or two organizations and get their interest in your ideas. Because if there is no local interest in what you are trying to achieve, and then this is not going to be sustainable, right? So that's why we are asking you to get the organizations, local, any government or semi-government organizations, which is doing some of these type of activities for the society, for the community, should be able to help you out with, right? So that will take you long. Yeah.
Wonderful. There's another question here in the chat box that is there a number that is too small or too big to be considered as impactful?
That's a good
Matt,
question.
yeah, I was going to say, Matt, could you maybe give some an answer based on your
Examples.
experience?
Yeah.
Um, I'll say there's no number too small or too big. What I will say is that I think the reviewers will review on value for money, like how much impact do we get for the amount of money that you apply for, and be- and I think we aren't going to put a number on it because, for example, you might spend $10,000 uh, doing a communications upgrade for just one household, and we might consider that to be uh, not good value for money. But we might also consider spending the $10,000 on a very, very remote community. And so, even though that community might be small, you are providing a lot of impact because that community is completely underserved by existing infrastructure. And so, I think that this is something where you'll need to make your case that the amount of uh, your volunteer time and the IEEE funds is worth spending on the amount of impact that you want to have. So, I uh, the short answer is I don't think there is uh, a fixed level of impact.
Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Well, we've now reached the top of the hour, and I think we've answered all of our questions at this point in time. I want to thank everybody for their attendance today, and a special thank you to VP, Juliana, and especially Matt for their leadership today and bringing this webinar forward to help educate those of you that are applying. We look forward to receiving your applications, and just as a reminder, the deadline has been extended until the 26th of July. Thank you again, and we appreciate your interest and support of the ComSoc community and for Communication for All. Thank you
Yep.
all.
Thank you very much, Trish and VP and all of ComSoc for joining us in this partnership once again.
Wonderful. Have a great afternoon,
Thanks to
everybody.
Trish
Good
and
evening.
Cindy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.